Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk to you guys about my online business, Shop Hot Rose. A handful of you guys saw my launch video. It didn't really get crazy views, so I'm like, let me take it back, let me relax a little bit. I launched my business back, I want to say it was November 2020. I started it in the middle of the pandemic, and honestly, it was the best decision that I could have ever made and actually acted upon. Shop Hot Rose is my baby, and today I want to talk to you guys about how I started my business and how I was able to scale it up to $35,000 a month in sales and growing. That number is constantly changing, and on top of that, how it did $100,000 in its first year. So I'm excited to share some do's and don'ts with you guys, some things that have helped me, some things I wish I knew. So I really hope that you guys enjoy this video. So there are a few people that I have to give massive shout outs to when it comes to my business that I started. The first one has to be my brother. He for sure lights the flame underneath my ass and is like, what are you waiting for? You've been talking about this for years. Like, why are you not just taking initiative? This is only the beginning, and I just can't wait to see what is to come. So I've actually had the name idea for Shop Hot Rose for probably 3 or 4 years prior to starting it. It's basically a combination of my favorite flower and my mom's favorite flower, the rose, and it's also my middle name, Jazmine Rose. And then hot, I don't know, I wanted to think of something that I felt would be a timeless name that would never be hard to spell, that would be short enough. That's something that my brother always taught me, was like, when you think of a brand name or you think of a channel name, you want it to be something that everyone can spell, everyone can remember, and you just typically never want it to be too long. So that is the inspiration behind Hot Rose, really just paying an ode to my middle name and to my mom's favorite flower, and then hot to really spice it up. So I'm gonna talk about as much as I can, as in-depth as I can, but I wanna talk about a few things that you definitely need to start a business. I don't wanna waste your guys' time. I'm gonna answer questions that I wish people would have just gotten straight to the point to in videos when I got started. So here are the first things that you're really absolutely going to need. And there's gonna be so much more, but just to truly get started, here's what I feel you need. Number one, you're gonna need some form of starting capital. If you want this to be your online boutique and you're not gonna be doing drop shipping, you're gonna have your inventory in your house or in a storage unit or in an office, you are going to need starting capital. And if you can, I highly recommend you start out of your home. I started my business out of my home in my spare bedroom, and now that I'm living alone again, I have all of my inventory stored here at my house. Next thing you're gonna need is a seller's permit. If you are going to be shopping wholesale, which is basically what all of your favorite clothing stores do, Princess Polly, Fashion Nova, H&M even, like I'm just thinking of White Fox, like they all are shopping from wholesalers and very rarely are actually doing cut and sew. And there are plenty of reasons why people do this, but I would say when you're just getting started and you don't have a lot of capital, this is the easiest way to get started, and it's definitely a much less risky way to get started. It can be really scary investing thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars into something that you have no idea if it will actually sell. Point being, you're gonna need a seller's permit so that you can shop at all of the wholesale stores and pick out cute, trendy pieces for your clothing store. Another thing that you're gonna need, if you live in Los Angeles, you're gonna need a car so that you can go to the fashion district and actually start your shopping, which is so much fun. For myself, when I shop in the fashion district, I really look for pieces that I feel people are going to keep in their closet for a really long time. That's like kind of my motive behind my pieces. And I also have a very strong focus on denim, because as a short girl, finding denim that fits me is always really hard. So I kind of took that and made that what stood my brand apart from all of the other ones. Fourth thing that you're gonna need is to set up accounts on Alibaba, Fashion Go. I think there's another one called Orange something. I don't remember, but those are the main two that I normally source from. And setting up your account there, getting it ready, having your seller's permit automatically put into the website, that way you are ready to shop. Fifth thing you're gonna need to do is determine your customers and create a business plan. This should probably be the first thing, but I should say these are not listed in any order. Sixth, you're gonna need poly bags, or to figure out how you plan to ship your product. I'm talking about this from the advice of starting your own clothing store, but if you're gonna do jewelry, how are you gonna package your products? If you're gonna be doing you know, artwork, how are you gonna package it, how are you gonna present it to the customer. The seventh thing, you're gonna need some sort of a printer, a Dymo label printer or a Rollo. That's what I have. You can use a regular printer, but you're gonna waste a lot of ink when your business starts growing. So I definitely recommend just getting a thermal printer because you will never need to get an ink cartridge again in your life. And it makes your job 10 times easier, I promise. And the final thing is a website. They need to be able to shop somewhere. So I'm just saying you should probably consider getting one of those set up. Now, I do want to actually take a moment to pause this video and talk about Alibaba. They're actually, as I said, a company that I have sourced from and a company I'm really excited to be collaborating with on this video. Alibaba.com is pretty much the #1 outlet, I would say, for buying wholesale pieces or even designing your own pieces. So a huge reason that I really love working with Alibaba or buying from Alibaba is that they've basically perfectly fixed 3 massive problems that come up for small businesses or businesses in general when shopping online. First thing would be just accessibility can be very difficult. Sourcing globally is really complex and it really requires a lot of expertise. There can be a lot of barriers getting in the way, not knowing if you're getting the right material, shipping times, all these things, like actually making sure you're working with a legitimate, good company. It can be very stressful. Another thing is designing a great idea can be so difficult, as I talked about earlier, because it can be so expensive. With Alibaba though, there are over 200 million products that you can shop from, and I believe there's over 200,000 suppliers that you can work with to design your pieces. They also have various supply options, whether that's ready to ship or drop shipping, and there's also different levels of customization that you can do with that. But I think the one major thing about Alibaba and this specific accessibility problem is that they have a low minimum order quantity in the ready to ship section. Another really huge problem is trust. Giving your money to people somewhere in the world that you've never even met and having no idea what's gonna come from it is very scary. You'll find that you have no idea what the actual capability is of these manufacturers without actually traveling there yourself and seeing what they can produce. But obviously this can be very impractical when you're just getting started. It's super time consuming and it's very expensive. Now, Alibaba's way of combating this is actually either 3D showrooms, live videos, short videos, and working with verified suppliers. The final thing that I want to talk about that can be so stressful when starting an online business, or again, just running a business in general, would be fulfillment. It can be very difficult to keep up with fulfillment and demand. Ordering a small batch of inventory can be explosively expensive, and obviously the cross-border shipment lacks certainty. When is it actually going to get to you? And Alibaba's solution for this is fast dispatch in the ready to ship category. I can attest to this, that you will get it in the time that it says it will arrive, or very, very close within that window. They have on-time delivery services and delivery duty paid services. So I really feel like Alibaba is doing their best to make starting and running and maintaining a small business as simple and practical as they can. I definitely recommend, if you are wanting to start your own business, to check out Alibaba. And now is actually the perfect time because they're actually having platform-wide sales and promotions during the month of Super September, which is really cool. So thank you so much, Alibaba, for sponsoring today's video. Such an honor to be working with you guys, and let's get on with the rest of my tips. Okay, so let's continue talking about things that you're really gonna need to get started. I gave you guys a brief rundown, and now I just wanna go into a little bit more detail about each of those things. Okay, so now let's go in order. I do definitely believe that you're going to need some form of a business plan to get started. I will say a ton of people are like, write out a 15-page business plan. And sure, I do think that it is important, but let me tell you, my business plan was 1 page long and I figured out the rest along the way. But I do think having a business plan in terms of like, what are you going to sell? What's your market? You know, what's gonna be the general age range? And if you're gonna sell clothing, is it gonna be all kinds of clothing? Do you wanna focus on designing your own pieces? Do you want to do like weekly drops, or do you wanna have constant revolving inventory? Do you wanna sell out every time? And then again, you also need to figure out what your budget is going to be, what the price is gonna be that you charge your customers. This is typically gonna determine the age range and even the area that a lot of your customers are gonna shop from. I am finding that for me specifically, I sell denim and I charge $75 for the jeans, and I have a lot of like high school students that are like, $60 for jeans, I can buy these from Fashion Nova, and that's when I'm like, then go to Fashion Nova. That's okay, I take no offense. If I'm not in your budget, Like, no offense taken, we're not each other's demographic, and that's okay. I think also in your business plan, you should figure out what your budget is going to be to start this business. I will be honest, I think I started my business with $5,000, and it was like, I had like no money in my savings account. I'm pretty sure I just took the last of my savings and put it into this business. If I knew what I knew now, I would have probably put $2,500 into the business. And that would have included the website and poly bags and everything. But I was just like, go big or go home. I just went crazy. I had no idea what was going on. The next thing that you're going to need is a seller's permit, and you're going to very quickly after that want to set up either an LLC or an S Corp. So the seller's permit is how you're actually gonna be able to buy things wholesale. You cannot go to the fashion district and buy anything at the register without your seller's permit. So yeah, point is they typically will just sell by the pack, and you need to prepare that into your budget. So just because you see that a top is $15, multiply that by 6. That's what you're actually gonna be spending, and then that's also going to help you calculate your price in the end for how much you're gonna sell it for. The reason that you're gonna wanna either set up an LLC or an S Corp is because with taxes, if you are self-employed, you can totally run a business and be self-employed, but be prepared for the IRS to take 50% of your income. You are not able to expense things nearly as much as you can as a business. I don't even know if you can expense things at all. I just know that every time I would sit down with my accountant when I first started on YouTube, they were like, why are you not incorporated? Or why don't you have an LLC? Like, your taxes are gonna be insane as self-employed. So I recommend anyone starting their own business to get set up as an LLC or an S Corp as soon as possible. My corporation is an S Corp that I started 6 years ago, and when I start new businesses, I actually just make it, because I'm a corporation, I create mini corporations underneath it. So like Hot Rose is an LLC under my corporation. And so with that, you're gonna be able to expense, all of the inventory that you're buying, the shelving that you're gonna have to buy. You're gonna be able to write off your gas when you're driving to the fashion district to buy things. You may even be able to write off a bedroom in your house if it's being used as an office space. There are so many things that you are able to benefit from by creating a corporation so that you can write off all of your expenses. Now, I'm not gonna spend too long on this topic, but I do definitely think from an e-commerce, women's fashion perspective, you should really figure out sooner than later what kind of style you're gonna go for on your store starting off. Having a good idea of what type of style you wanna go for, what your budget is gonna be on cost per unit, as I was talking about the $15 example, knowing that you need to multiply that by most likely 6 to be prepared for that cost, is really gonna help you figure out how many packs you need to get. Starting off, honestly, just get 1 pack of each thing. Knowing that people trusted me enough to go and shop on my website and trust my fashion sense and my curated pieces was awesome and so exciting. So yeah, just figure out what you wanna sell. Now I've decided to make my focus on denim, and I truly believe is what has transformed my business. Another really fantastic thing that I wanna talk about, and I didn't put this in my starter pack list, but I do 100% give full credit to this being the reason that my business grew in the last 3 months, is Facebook marketing. When I tell you that single-handedly saved my business and grew my business in a way that I knew it was capable of getting to, but I didn't know how to do it on my own, it was transformative. Finding somebody who is absolutely so talented and has such a strong expertise in marketing, and specifically Facebook and Instagram marketing, will be what carries your business for you. Just the marketing aspect is truly where the money will come in and transform the business. He helped me niche down my customer. We tested different audiences. We did lookalike campaigns, all this stuff that I don't know anything about, but he does. You create a budget with your Facebook marketer. We started with like $50 a day, and now we've worked our way up to $300 a day in Facebook ads, which sounds absolutely crazy, but we're returning like 50% of that revenue with each customer that it brings in. Hot Rose was doing $4,000 to $6,000 a month, and last month we did $36,000, and I paid myself out for the first time. You are gonna have to pay out your marketer as well. Obviously for the time they're transforming your business, but creating a budget and making sure that they actually know what they're doing can single-handedly carry your business. Now, when it comes to the website, this is another very important thing. Try not to overthink this. I just run my shop on Shopify as many other small businesses and massive businesses do. It is just single-handedly the easiest way to start a business. I think even Kylie Jenner and like Gymshark run their stores on Shopify. So many people do, but I would definitely recommend doing the mid-tier plan. I think it's $79 a month, running your business on there. Pick, you don't need to build out a whole website. You can hire someone to do that, or you can just pick one of the templates that they have. They have free ones. I started with a free one and eventually paid like $100 for one of their templates, customized it to what I wanted, which is just minimal, straight to the point, and simple. Shopify just makes it easy, so I would just recommend building out your website on there. This is not endorsed, however, Shopify, hit a girl up. And then I'll just kind of clump these things together, but this is gonna be just, as far as running your business goes, things that you're gonna need to run your business and actually ship is going to be either your poly bags. I know a lot of people will just buy poly bags on Amazon to start, but Bria was actually the one that was like, you are spending so much more money on poly bags through there than you could buying from another website that actually just does poly bags. I personally shop ecoenclosed.com because they do recycled poly mailers, which just makes me feel better because it is a lot of plastic. My jeans are already wrapped in plastic to protect them. So I just try to reduce the plastic usage as best as I can, and that is by getting the recycled enclosures. I also really like them because I have a lot of customers that will do exchanges and ship the product back to me, and it has 2 rows of the label, so people will hold on to the bag and they're able to ship the bag or ship the jeans or whatever they bought back in the bag and ship that same bag to me, which is just creating less waste. The Dymo label printer, I'm telling you it's gonna change everything. I shouldn't say Dymo because I have Rollo, but I love it. I just buy 1,000 of the actual labels and stack them up, and basically it's just a thermal printer that will feed all the shipping labels out to you on a perfect little slip, and you just peel it off and slap that sticker onto your poly bag and ship it out, and you are good to go. I bought my Rollo printer on Amazon, but you can buy directly from the website. You can buy a Dymo. There's like tons of off brands now. I just personally have Rollo, and I know a lot of people that have Dymo, so those are the ones that I'm personally going to recommend to you. And then when it comes to the thermal printer paper, you do not need to buy the Rollo brand. You can buy an off brand for half the price and double the amount of paper, or the same amount. I think I pay like $20 for 1,000, but Rollo charges $20 for 500. And then the final thing is gonna be thank you cards. I think that these are just a great way to add some personality to your brand. For a long time, I was just shipping the product, and I was doing handwritten thank you notes at the beginning. But then when I was doing 500 orders and packing 20, 30 orders a day, I was like, oh my God, I can't keep up with this anymore. I'm like trying to run my YouTube businesses and stuff. How can I make this feel personal without actually having my handwritten note? So I just went on nextdayflyers.com. Well, first I went on Etsy.com. I bought a small business thank you card PDF file that was customizable. I think it was like $5. Customized it to say the text that I wanted, cropped it, did the color scheme exactly how I wanted it, uploaded that file to Next Day Flyers. There's tons of other websites. I just went through Next Day Flyers, and I set it up for pickup the next day. You can also wait a couple days. I think I paid a little extra to have it ready the next day. But they're beautiful. They're just like these little like 4x6 thank you notes, and I put like a discount code for my returning customers. I just want to add some personal experience, but I've seen a lot of people on TikTok, they'll add in like little dum-dums, or they'll add in a scrunchie or something to like personalize it even further. And that just depends on how comfortable you are with your budget, what your profit margin is looking like, because it's gonna cost you extra to include a little gift. So just something to make customers feel like they actually have a connection with you, because they do. And you want them to feel appreciated for spending their hard-earned money on your store. Like, that's kind of crazy. When I think about it, I'm like, someone just got fed an ad, loved the way that my jeans looked, and trusted the website enough to spend $50 to $250 in one go, just with the hopes that it would turn out great. And that there is nothing better than that. So there are so many other things that I can talk about in terms of keeping returning customers, email marketing, profit margins, scalability, all of these things, and I'd definitely be happy to talk about it in a future video. So if you guys would want me to create maybe like a mini series, maybe like a 3-4 episode mini series, let me know, comment down below. But that's gonna be it for this video. I think I've given enough information. But thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. I really hope that I was able to help you guys in some way. And if you have any questions, please comment down below. I'll do my best to answer as many of them as possible. But you can do this, you can totally start your own business, and don't be discouraged at the beginning. It is very hard and it can take a year or two before you actually are able to pay yourself out. Feel free to ask any questions, and yeah, thanks again to Alibaba for sponsoring today's video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye. And again, I would like to give a huge thank you to Alibaba.com for sponsoring today's video.